Big dog. Hello, I'm Raja. Or just Raj from Amazon. Well, hello. You got my package? Ironically enough, I did just order something from Amazon yesterday. I guess they have. I would love to see a map of all the distribution centers Amazon has, because this one is shipping literally from one state over. Your account's been compromised. Oh no, not my account. But yeah, apparently this one's only like this distribution center is only a few hours away. I didn't know they had one that close to me. Like I can get from here to Atlanta in 2 hours drive on the interstate. 4 hours if I want to go there and back. I'm not staying. You're not really. I haven't been to Georgia a lot in my life. I went a few times. Went to Six Flags. On the midnight train, on the midnight of Christmas. Oh, I thought you were doing that song. On a midnight train, Georgia. I fucking love that song. Ordered a Samsung P9 micro SD Express card or whatever for a Switch 2. You know, I still don't have a I don't have a micro SD for my Switch 2 yet. Wait, you got a Switch 2? I didn't know you got a Switch 2. Well, damn, that's news to me. I want to say, with you having a Switch 2, that brings, including me, the total number of Switch 2 owners in the Discord server up to 4, I think. Yeah, the little micro SD cards you have to get for the Switch 2 are a little pricey. I looked at Walmart and I looked online. I'll get one when I need it. At the moment, the Switch 2 has enough like internal memory because I honestly I don't buy a lot of games for the Switch. So, but you've never been to Georgia? Yeah, there's not a lot there for me either. Like I said, I've been to Six Flags a couple of times. Of course, I don't really go anywhere, but because they're new technology. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. They're everything's always very expensive at first. I get one eventually. Most of the stuff I get is born out of necessity. I'll get it when I need it, you know. I started to play Metroid Prime, but then I remembered, oh yeah, we stopped in the middle of this area yesterday. Let's go ahead and knock this out today. So, but I'm thinking this upcoming week we're going to focus 110% on Metroid. We probably only got one stream left at best, 2 streams, and then we're done. Which sucks. I don't want it to be over. Our playthrough of Pokemon Legends EA is practically over. There's not really anything left to do. The DLC's left such a bad taste in my mouth that I want to get as far away from Pokemon for a while as I possibly can. I need a break from Pokemon. It's dominated not only my life but my channel for so long. I'm not saying we're breaking up, but we need some time apart. You've heard this. You've heard that sentence many times before. Yeah, I know. I know. This time I need to follow through with it for my own mentals. I know we got that Pokopia game coming out next few months, sometime in early 2026. I do intend to play the hell out of that because that's going to be more Animal Crossing than Pokemon. And you know how much I love my Animal Crossing. I am going to start on the 1st of January. I'm starting Stardew Valley. Um, like I said yesterday, I also bought some of the Lego games. I didn't buy it. Tyler gifted me Lego Star Wars. That's what he got me this year. Because he wanted to get me a Steam game. And I got to look at my wish list and I couldn't find anything that I wanted to play immediately. And I was like, you know what? Let's do Lego. I play the Lego. You doing Doki Doki? I would like to, even if I do, it won't be anytime soon. Because that's a lengthy one that will require a lot of voice acting and a lot of reading. And I gotta get prepared for that. Maybe that'll be our Halloween game. Maybe we should do it as a horror thing. What do you think? That'd be a pretty good Halloween game. I mean, it goes places, man. But as far as what I'm going to play immediately, um, you'd be doing Call of Duty Black Ops. No, I don't typically do a lot of shooter games on my channel. Although I have been thinking about it, and I did a playthrough of Doom not too long ago, and I got to looking at it, and the footage was really bad, and the audio was really bad, so I deleted it. So I think I'd like to do Doom 2016, and then I'd like to do the whatever the second one was called, and then I want to do that new one that came out. Then I want to do the three Turok games that came out for the 64. I have them on both Steam and the Switch Online. There's a new James Bond game coming out next year that I'd like to play. Tyler and I still need to do the latest Halo game that came out a few years ago. I see that Gears of War has a Game of the Year edition on Steam. So I'd like to do Gears of War at some point. We like to call it Chest High Walls. So I'd like to play Chest High Walls at some point. I'm not super familiar with Call of Duty. I think I played it once or twice. Not on YouTube or anything, just like years ago. Friends playing it, and they're like, here, you want to play this? Yeah, sure, I'll try it out. But yeah, I do have a handful of shooters that I will get around to. In my immediate future, I think I was talking to Tyler about this, and I think we're going to take a long break from quote unquote streamer games because we tried out Chain Together, and he just wasn't. He was so mentally checked out that I knew that he needs a break. He's been doing the Let's Play thing with me now for a couple of years. Intermittently, and he doesn't even like doing the streaming thing. He doesn't hate it, but it's not his favorite thing in the world. So I think I'm going to give him a mental break and just say don't. Which honestly, Minecraft kind of helped him this year and gave him a little bit of a break. But I think he wanted to do the Star Wars Lego with me. So I think that he and I are going to do the Star Wars Lego stuff next. With Pokemon finished and Metroid finished, I'm going to turn my attention to as frustrating as I think that playthrough is going to be, I think I need to finally break down and do. I think it's time to go ahead and do Majora's Mask. What does that smell? I have my window open and the screen door window open, and there is something funky wafting in from outside. I don't like that. Yeah, the temperature appears to be 69 according to my computer. And I don't get cold until it gets down into like the 30s. So I usually have I'm fatty. I'm a fatty. I have the window open at 40 degrees. Do stuff like chain together, so you got to get your most unscrupulous friend ever. Yeah, the problem is I don't have any. I wish. Well, that's kind of why I Black Bear entering the hole. The hell are you talking about? Entering the home? Oh, you deleted the weather app? Yeah, usually I delete all the bloatware too, but I like the weather. I like knowing what temperature it is. What was I saying a minute ago? Oh yeah. That's one of the reasons I did what I did with the Discord. That's why we have uh, a gaming section now for everybody. Because I still would like to do some episodes of what's the name of that game? The one that had everybody saying sus Among Us. I still haven't been able to do Among Us. I still haven't been able to do Mario Party. I'm kind of hoping that you guys will fill in the gaps and help me get those playthroughs done. Because I don't got no friends IRL. Because I'm a sad sack of shit and by myself. Branch out to other genres and stuff. Kinda. Yeah, somewhat. Um, it's just I've been doing this whole 9 years worth of YouTube and Twitch, and it's just been so much Nintendo and so much Pokemon that it is way beyond time to start branching out. I mean, you get the occasional random playthrough from me. If you really dig through my YouTube channel, you'll see stuff like Firewatch. That was a really good one. I know you mentioned that one in chat not too long ago. But there are playthroughs. Like I did Life is Strange not too long ago. I think that was last year or this year. It was either 2024 or 2025. Um, if you really dig through the playlists on my channel, you will occasionally come across something that is just completely non-Nintendo related, but it's rare and far and few in between. I would like to change that. I definitely think that's what hurts my channel too. Because like if you're gonna do Nintendo, you have to kind of go all in and lean into that being your shtick, and I don't really do that per se. Because I think there's a certain a certain look and personality to being a Nintendo YouTuber, and I just don't have that. I cuss a lot. I look like a redneck with the beard and the fat face and the hats. I I don't have like a bubbly personality. I don't come on with the tingly YouTube music. Dink, 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 ding, dink, dink. You know, the crappy bullshit blog music that we all hate so much. I don't have that kind of YouTube channel, and I think it's a real detriment to my subscriber count. I just can't do it. I said very early on, I'd rather have no subscribers than come on here and be fake. And there's a huge difference between being fake and having like an online persona. That's two different things. I don't mean that at all. If you're playing a character, that's totally fine. Like if you don't want to be your authentic self on YouTube and you're like playing your character or whatever, that's fine. That's not at all what I mean. I mean the people who try to like say, "Oh no, this is me 100%. This is how I act IRL," and then they're lying about it. Yeah, I couldn't get behind that. So, but it would be nice. I know the moment that I first said it's time to get serious, and I need to I really need to branch out away from just playing Nintendo all the time. It was around the time that Stray came out, and I said, "Well, I really want to play this game. This game looks really cool." But my computer at the time couldn't handle it. I have since got a new computer. Well, by new, this is a hand-me-down computer. I got it from Tyler. I think he said it's a 2017, like a pre-built something that he bought somewhere. Of course, I bought a new graphics card this past year to go in it, so I could probably play Stray now if I wanted to. It's just I keep playing Nintendo games, but I didn't. Hold on, I'm getting way behind. Amping us up with Prime in 2019 and 2020 days. You and the boys used to fuck around all the time in Among Us. Yeah, see, I missed the Among Us train because I didn't have any friends to play it with, you know? Feeling the background noise. I don't know what the specs are off the top of my head, but I tell you what I'd like to do. If you will remind me, and I'm really forgetful, so I'm holding you to this. Don't let me forget. After the stream today, I'll go into my computer and check. And not only will I slip a picture of that in here when I edit this video, I'll put it in Discord. But the computer itself's not super old. It's just it could stand some RAM, if nothing else, you know. Because I know that the graphics card was it had a 4. It was 4 or something, you know. When I bought it, it was the latest graphics card, right before the 5000 whatever came out. So it's one of the 4 somethings. Actually, is there a way to check? Well, no, I can't do that while streaming. I don't know how to check it. I'll have to. I think you hit like the Windows key or something. Let me see if that works. Windows, settings, system. Trying to remember. Sound notifications, power supply, multitude, advanced activation, recover project. About. Here we go. I think it's under about. Yeah, there we go. Intel R Core TM i7-7700 CPU. I don't know what any of this means. At 3.60 gigahertz. Installed RAM 16 gigabytes. Windows 11 now because I went to 10. How do I look at further details? Oh, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060. That's what I have. So yeah, I have the 4060 and all the other stuff I said. Okay, then I don't need to edit the picture in. We found it. We found it. And again, I really don't know a ton about computers. I vaguely know what all that means. I mean, I get RAM, I get the graphics card. There's some things I know about computers, but a lot I don't. But I always talk with Tyler before buying anything to make sure I'm not buying something super old. And when Tyler gave me this hand-me-down computer, I gave my old one to my sister, and I gave her when I bought the graphics card to go in this one. I gave her uh, the graphics card that I was using before. So the old graphics card that I started my YouTube channel with, I just sold on eBay. I was honestly going to throw it in the trash. I I didn't think it was worth anything. I was so ready to just here put this right in the garbage. Let me pull it up on eBay and I'll tell you what graphics card it was. Because when I first started YouTube, I had that white computer that you'll probably see if you scroll back far enough on my Instagram pictures. I don't remember. I don't remember what year Tyler gave me this computer. 2024, maybe 23 or 24. He gave me the computer that I'm using at the moment that I'm streaming from and talking to you guys on. But I don't see selling overview. Yeah, I was just gonna put this in the trash. It's the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060, 6 gigabytes. That's what I started out YouTube using is the GTX 1060. And honestly, like I said, I just could put it in the trash. And I think Tyler said, "Why don't you put it on eBay?" And I was like, "Well, how much am I going to get for it on eBay?" And I got to looking and I saw most people were selling them for about $70, give or take. So I listed it for like, I want to say 60. I think I might have listed it for 68 bucks, somewhere in the 60s. And I put best offer and somebody offered me like 50 something bucks for it. And I was like, sold. It beats just throwing it in the garbage. eBay was like, since you're a new seller, we're going to hold on to your funds till January 10th. And I was like, you son of a bitch, how am I going to pay for shipping? So I had to borrow the money from me mom like a toddler just to pay the shipping. But that's okay. I gave it back to her when eBay quits holding the money. 68 is cheap. I mean, like I said, I was just going to throw it right in the garbage. You really can't even buy anything anymore with 60 bucks. So I don't, you know, what can I buy? That's $60. Would have bought 1 gallon of milk. Should have convinced him to give you 68. Well, what's ironic is by the time they paid shipping and handling, it went back up to $68 from the discount that I gave them. And eBay calculated, you know how when on eBay you can do like the automatic shipping calculation based on the seller and the buyer's address. It calculated that the shipping and handling was going to be $8. The post office charged me $13. So I kind of ended up just eating some of the shipping costs. But again, I don't care. It's all quote unquote free money because I was just going to throw the thing in the trash. You know? It's kind of got me hankering to sell some more stuff on eBay. I'm not going to lie. I don't have anything to sell, though. I tend not to keep a lot of stuff. I don't have need for something. I usually tend to. I'm real bad about getting rid of stuff. I like being a minimalist. Wait, I didn't wash that. No, I did not wash this already. How about the dino shelf in the back? No, not my dino. No. Shave some of your beard and sell it as a wig. I don't know if they do that. I do know you can sell your hair as wigs, but I don't know if they buy beard hair. I'll tell you something else, and I mentioned this way earlier this year. I made a little bit of a discovery this year as far as shopping is concerned. I've noticed that Walmart, Target, Amazon, eBay all carry a lot of the same inventory for roughly the same price. There might be a few dollars discrepancy here or there. But I noticed that I was trying to, there were a few things I was looking for online this year that really made me realize that we're really just shopping from like a universal catalog at this point, and that the illusion of choice is, well, the idea of having a choice is just the illusion of choice at this point. So when it comes to buying and selling things on eBay, it's getting increasingly hard to do so because a lot of people have the same stuff. So like, take me for an example. So I'm a nerd. I fully believe, though I've never been tested, that I'm somewhat on the autistic spectrum, ADHD. I have mental problems, learning, somewhat of a learning disability, severe problems with anxiety and depression. So I got a long laundry list of head fuckery going on, you know. So I have a little bit of the arrested development going on. I didn't mature into a neurotypical adult. I'm 41. I got dinosaur toys all over my room. I live at home. I'm unemployed. I play video games all the time. I'm very much not, I'm special. So if I were to sell something on eBay, I'm not going to be able to sell something like car parts, rare, vintage, antique furniture. You're not going to see my eBay store selling like a doorknob from a 1776 mansion. You're just going to see toys and crap that a gaming nerd is going to sell. You know what I mean? So everybody and their mama's selling that same stuff online. So let's say I bought a Pikachu toy from a GameStop 5 years ago, and I've decided, well, I want to sell that on eBay. There's already like 1,000 listings for that same Pikachu toy on eBay, making the whole thing fruitless for me because people are going to shop with the cheapest, most option the majority of the time. So I'd have to try to undercut all the other sellers, and honestly, it's just not worth my time. So since I don't have anything rare and valuable to sell, I don't really bother with trying to sell stuff on eBay. The video card was honestly just a fluke to kind of see if I could. Thought it was ADD. I'm convinced it's ADD, but here's the thing: they don't do ADD anymore. They rolled ADD into ADHD, and Tyler swears up and down I have ADHD. I don't know if ADHD is a spectrum thing or not. I haven't really looked into it. I do have a few severe ADHD traits, but I don't share all of them that Tyler has. Um, so I don't know how that works. I'd have to be evaluated. As far as like officially on paper, what have I been diagnosed with? I have officially been diagnosed with issues concerning the learning disability when I was younger, and then like depression issues and anxiety issues. And when people say they have anxiety and depression, well, so does everybody. I mean, who the hell doesn't have those two things? They're naturally built in. You're supposed to have them. Um, but I think typically when people say, well, I have this and this and this, what they mean is they have it in spades and it's become an issue where they have to get help with it. And that's what it happened to me like that. I got to a point where I had to go get help. It was pretty bad. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think that I think if I do have ADHD, it's very minimum or minimal at best. I'm not convinced that it's enough to warrant. I don't think it gets in the way of my life. I don't see it. I personally don't see it. But I have had other people say the contrary. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Tyler swears up and down I have it. God knows he has it bad. Ooh, lost McDonald's DS game. So yeah, rip it to the drive before you do anything else with it. I don't know. You could probably find that online. Have you looked to see if anybody's dumped that ROM yet? Or is that the whole point to what you're saying? Is like it's lost media. Nobody has a copy of it. Because honestly, I don't even know what game you're talking about. I didn't know McDonald's did a DS game. I know that Burger King did a few Xbox 360 games. I still want to get my hands on Sneak King. I guess I could get an emulator, but I don't know how to set up a. I don't know how to set up emulators with Sony and Microsoft. I'll have to figure that out. It would be fun to play Sneak King though. That would be hella fun. Yeah, it's lost media. Oh, that's unfortunate, but it happens. It might still surface somewhere someday. Yeah, I don't know about that either. You thought ADD is just that ADHD is ADD with hyperactivity included. See, I thought that too, but I've been told recently that's not the case. I don't know. I've lost track of all of it. Some a doctor's gonna have to explain it to me because I'm so lost on all of it. I don't know. I don't know. I tell you what, though, I do intend to knock out this entire skate park today. Even if we don't get anything else done, I want this skate park finished. Because this has been a damn chore. And I'm saving the Sonic Loop de Loop for last. That's gonna be fun. Whee! Just do it in lines like we're mowing the lawn. Ooh, this is gonna be the most tedious part. the big open space. So Fat Gremlin probably has all the game chips in a box somewhere. Probably. Most likely. It'll show up one day. We'll find out one day that a collector has it somewhere and they weren't aware that it's considered lost media. That's usually how that goes. Like they don't know what a ROM is. They don't know anything about dumping them on the internet for, as shareware. They don't know any of that's a thing. They just know that they got this and it's part of their quote unquote collection until one day somebody's like, hey, can we make a copy of that? There are people out there who are making an attempt to back up and save every video game in existence. And I really hope they do. Because game preservation, media preservation in general is very important. Because companies are, obviously companies are monetarily incentivized and they're not going to go the extra mile if it doesn't like help them make money. And a lot of times preserving past projects is not financially viable. Because I mean, okay, with video games, yeah, it's cheap. Video games are the easier thing to preserve because you can store a game digitally on a server somewhere on a hard drive. Done, But older things like film, especially before computers became standard, films had to be stored in salt mines and salt vaults and things like that, and that became a whole chore. That required a lot of money and real world effort to do. You don't have to worry about that in the modern age. You can digitize a film and just put it on a hard drive. But I think Doctor Who is a good example. Doctor Who is extremely popular, so I don't know anything about it, but I'll use it as an example. They lost a lot of the original episodes. They're just gone to time. Backups don't exist. I've heard people talk about that. Night Court 2, I think. There's a lot of it. You'd be surprised how many shows and movies are just gone because the company didn't. I remember that was one of the things back in the day, back in the 50s, when Desi Arnaz was, trying to pitch I Love Lucy to the networks. They didn't want to. I believe they didn't want to store. I think Desi was like, no, you don't understand. We'll store the film. We'll handle all of that. You air it, you pay, you just do all of the airing and the promoting and we'll deal with the storage and stuff. And look how that turned out for him. That was a very smart move on Desi's part. I always liked that behind the scenes fun fact. I need to look up and see whatever happened to Desilu Studios. I know that they're I know that that's who was in charge of Star Trek in the 60s. I know if it weren't for Lucille Ball, we wouldn't have had Star Trek. She liked the idea, she liked the show, and she was a champion for giving it a shot and keeping it on air. But I don't know if it changed over and became a different studio or not. I need to look into that. I also need to download I Love Lucy. I don't have that show. I'm out of space at the moment, actually. I can't download anything else right now. No more games, no more movies, no more TV shows. All my hard drives are completely full. The only hard drive right now that has any space is the one I save all my YouTube videos on, and I don't know how much longer that one's going to have any room left on it either. So that's why I've been doing all the streaming on Twitch. I am like really close to a payout on Twitch. It's not enough to buy a hard drive, but at least it's something. YouTube's not going to let me get fucking monetized. I'm monetized on Twitch at least. I just don't get enough viewers on Twitch to make enough money. But I am monetized. But I think my next goal is going to be getting a hard drive, like a really hardy, large hard drive, so I can store all my media. Because I'm out of space. Well, the hard drive that my operating system is on is a solid state drive, and I think it's a 500 gigabyte. But then the two other hard drives, I have three hard drives total in my computer. I have a solid state drive that houses Windows. Then I have one that I named Archive. And Archive houses all my TV shows, music, ROMs, emulators, all the just movies, media. Then I have one labeled YouTube. And the Archive hard drive and the YouTube hard drive are both HDD drives. Um, you know, I don't remember what HDD stands for, but it's the ones that spin with a disk inside. Um, they're not solid state. Um, then Tyler gave me a couple of years ago. He gave me this portable um, hard drive, and the first 8 years of my YouTube videos are on this hard drive. I think this is like a 4 or 5 terabyte hard drive. Um, I really like having this because if my house were ever on fire or anything, the one thing I can reach for, grab, and save is my fucking hard drive because this has my entire YouTube history on it at the moment. So with that portable hard drive, that makes 4 total. Because I back up everything I do. I don't trust YouTube to be forever. I don't trust because YouTube can blink and then just delete your entire channel for no good goddamn reason. You said something 8 years ago that goes against our current TOS, so we've decided to just yeet your channel right into the sun. Thanks, YouTube. Appreciate you. So, yeah, I back up every fucking thing I do. I do not trust Google not to just delete my shit. But unfortunately, my archives hard drive that I put all my ROMs and movies and stuff on is almost completely full. So I can't download any more shows or anything until I buy a new one. And I can't really afford to do that till I pay off the stupid credit card that I bought the Switch 2 with. There's never enough money. There's never enough money. And I'm always too sickly and fucked up to work a clear 9 to 5. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm in pretty rough shape, honestly. I really needed to do something. I don't know. I gotta figure something out. Oh, damn. I didn't realize that we finished this railing. Okay. So we really are just down to this one corner now, right? Ugh. Well, videos are scrappy quality anyway. I tell you what, though, you download them anyway. Go ahead and download your old videos anyway. If nothing else, put them on your Google Drive in the cloud. Because even if they're terrible quality, you might want them 10, 15, 20 years from now. You'll look back as an adult and be like, wow, these are shitty, but I love them. Look at what I was making when I was young. You're going to want them someday. No, regardless of the quality, you are going to want them. I would definitely make backups. You are going to want that material one day, and Google will eventually delete it. Everybody always says the internet's forever, and I disagree on that. I guess it matters on the context. If you're, let's say you're a lolcow on YouTube and there's 50 million reaction channels about you, then yeah, everything you put on your channel's forever. Because that just happened to a YouTuber I watch. I've been watching this lolcow on YouTube now for the better part of a decade, and she's 600 pounds. She's a morbidly obeser, and YouTube is currently in the midst of a lawsuit over eating disorders and self-harm and that kind of stuff. And so they're kind of demonetizing tons of people on YouTube in spades. And she she went and deleted everything on her entire channel. But it doesn't matter because almost every video she's ever done has been reacted to by dozens of reaction channels. So that shit's up forever. And the funny thing is YouTube's not demonetizing the reaction channels because the reaction channels are like giving context to her eating disorder and saying, this is self-harm, don't do this. She is actually actively self-harming by doing the mukbangs and stuff at 600 pounds and more or less glorifying her lifestyle. So she's breaking TOS, but the reaction channels are not. And that pisses her off to no end. Why don't you get a remote job? Uh, well, I looked into that. I probably could at this point. At this point, it might just be laziness more than anything else about the remote job stuff. I don't know. I kind of thought that was a COVID thing because I was led to believe that those jobs kind of went away after COVID. I know there are still some, but they're not there in the numbers. Even if I were to get a remote job, I got to clean up my mentals. You know, I got to get my shit together because one week I'm up at 8 o'clock in the morning and the next week I am waking up at 5 o'clock in the evening. So I have absolutely no consistency left in my life. And, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. I'm working on building my discipline back up. I've been going to bed every night at a decent hour. I've been getting up. I've been up days. I'm like trying to stay physically active. Like I'm actively taking my life back as we speak. I am improving day by day. It's just that when you spiral out as hard as I did, it's going to take a little bit of time. It might take me a few months to bounce back. And honestly, I kind of would rather get a job out of the house. I don't think I like the work from home stuff. I just need to find something that I can do. My issue is that like I don't have a proper education, so I can't get like can't get a cushy behind the desk job. I got to get a physically demanding, labor intensive job. My body just can't do that anymore. So I'm a little bit between a rock and a hard place, but we're gonna figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. We'll get there. When I first, or when COVID first started, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Like, there were so many remote jobs becoming available. Everybody was working from home. I remember they gave us the stimulus checks, and I was like, okay, this is great. Now I can, order a few things I need for the YouTube channel. Like, I wanted to get a new webcam. And I remember because of the stay at home stuff, you could get a webcam anywhere. Do I know how to use Premiere Pro? I do not know how to use Premiere Pro. I don't know how to use Excel. I don't know how to use any of that stuff. I'm sure it doesn't take much to learn. Maybe. I don't even know what Premiere Pro is. That's video editing software, right? I think. I think that's what that is. I don't know. I guess it's all about perspective. Because when I see somebody my age who doesn't work and they're not like clearly, it's stigmatized because unless you're like missing a limb or in a wheelchair or have some sort of physically visible physical disability, people tend to just think you're not disabled, even though disabilities run the gamut. You could be mentally unfit for everyday work in society. And that's kind of where I've hung my hat for the past decade, is that I've not really been mentally well enough, really to go out of the, and I know how that sounds to a lot of people. A lot of people buck that and say, well, I'm not mentally fit either, and I have to go to work every day to pay my rent. I don't have a choice in the matter. And I'm like, okay, I understand you, I hear you, I get that. But fortunately for me, I'm in a position to where I have family I can rely on, so I do have a choice in the matter. I don't know. I really don't like talking about it much because it's a topic that gets people heated, and it gets people heated fast. Because if not discussed with respect and discussed in the proper manner, you go piss a lot of people off. You know what I mean? People get salty over topics of disability and work and stuff, which is why I try to avoid those conversations. I will tell you one thing that strikes me funny. Professional video editor everyone uses. I remember looking at there. I don't remember what it was, but you mentioned a program to me, and I installed it. And I've had other people recommend programs to me, and I've installed them too. But they're all too complicated for me. Like I felt overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Um, you have ADHD and asthma, technically disabled, therefore go to disability checks by. You could honestly, you could, and that's the thing too. People stigmatize social government programs. Oh, you're on welfare. You must be a poor, lazy piece of shit who don't want to work. Oh, you get food stamps. You must be, broke, poor, white trash. There are stigmas on just about everything you do or say, and you're never going to be able to please everybody. So at the end of the day, it's best just to do what works for you, you know, just kind of take care of yourself the best way that you know how to take care of yourself. Because it is a privilege. Don't get me wrong. It is a privilege to be able to be in a position in this world to where you can kind of sit around on your ass and figure life out. 99% of the population doesn't have that luxury. Their families aren't just going to let them, try and figure it out for 40 years. It's just not a thing they're going to do. But then, the economy is so terrible too now that there are a shit ton of people my age who've had to, tuck their tail between their legs and move back in with mom and pa, even though they're 40. And it is embarrassing, but the world is so fucked up that it's either that or become homeless for some folks out there. And I don't judge them for that. Oh yeah, we're gonna save the loop de loop for last. But no, I've not worked the entire time I've been on YouTube. And yeah, it is it's I'm in a position of privilege where I have family that kind of co-signs off on that behavior. But I have signed up for disability several times since I started YouTube. I've gone to the doctor, did all the paperwork, had the X-rays done on my back and everything else. This past year, I was supposed to have an X-ray done on my elbow. I was supposed to have all this medical paperwork in place, and I give it to the government, and the government's like, "Yeah, no, we just don't. We're not buying it." Like, I guess I gotta redo all that now, and I don't know. It's a mess. It is a mess. I do think the human element screwed me over on getting my disability because one of the fail safes that they have in place when a person signs up for disability through the government, you have to go see doctors of their choosing so they can verify it and make sure you're not in cahoots with your doctor, right? So I did all that. I went and saw their doctors. I went and saw their therapists, and the therapist that I went and saw was like an 89-year-old man wearing a Trump bracelet. And when I'm sitting there telling him about my life, just the vitriol and hate that was foaming behind his eyes, this old homophobic 89-year-old piece of shit's eyes. There's God knows what he told them after I, in the his report. So I got kind of fucked over by the human element. I'll never forget that for as long as I live. That was so uncomfortable. I've never been in that position before. I could tell he wanted to say so much that he just couldn't say because of professionalism. Oh, I know he wanted to call me a slur. I know he wanted to call me a slur. I could tell. I could tell. And the funny thing is when I heard back from them, they were like, "Well, we don't." They were like, "Given your age," and I forgot what else they said, but I think age played a large factor in it. They were like, "You're just not too disabled to work. We still think you can work jobs." Because they're not trying to judge your disability on whether or not you can work any job or not whether or not you can work a specific job. They give it to you if they determine you can't work any single solitary job out in the job market. So since jobs like work from home, telemarketing, typing jobs, since all that stuff exists, that counts in their eyes, and they don't give you disability if you can do those jobs. So you have to kind of prove when you get disability, you practically have to prove that you are a potato that can do nothing. And I don't know who the fuck fits that description. You know what I mean? Less than 1% of the population, literally less than 1% of the population fits that description. So I don't know. I think I would much rather just get out of the house and get a job though than get the disability, because I think if I were on disability, I think it would further promote like an unhealthy lifestyle of just sitting around, not going anywhere, not really doing anything productive. And again, that's not a slight on people who receive disability. I'm talking about myself specifically. It would probably make me less productive than I am now. I definitely want the motivation to do stuff. My uncle used to call it the lazy check, and I was like, well, that's a little offensive, but I understand why you're saying that. I've always heard it referred to as either the lazy check or a crazy check. Oh, that's so and so. He gets a crazy check. I don't know if y'all have ever heard. I'm sure y'all have heard that term before. By 2025 standards, that's probably terribly offensive, but I grew up with people saying that all the time. Small streamer you watch. Your mod editor's challenge, permission to download and edit his files, send them to upload. Also, YouTube. Too lazy to do to sell. You just have to fill in the free time. But you're not allowed to get a job on your disability. Yes and no. If you get a job, you have to tell them, and then they have to kind of redetermine whether or not you're. Some people can work on disability, they just are limited to what jobs they can have. The majority of people on disability do not work, no. But you can still work. It'll just affect how much money you get. Um, some people just try to get disability for the what you call it insurance. They don't even care about a monthly check. And I don't blame them. The insurance thing is a big point of contention in this country. It's fucked up, honestly. But and that's kind of where I'm at. I have zero insurance. If I get sick, I'm fucked. I'm just fucked. Like, what if I had to have surgery? I'm just gonna die. I think I made you a mod on my Twitch channel. I think I did. I don't even know who all's a mod on my Twitch channel anymore. I need to check. Honestly, I should probably make you a Discord mod too because you're there all the time. And you've been around long enough that I kind of get the feel for your personality, and I don't think you would be up to trouble. I think you're pretty harmless. I mean, what's the worst thing you're going to do? Post something that has to be deleted and then you're unmodded? That's not a big gamble. But yeah, no, I've spent the majority of my life being somewhat antisocial. You know, I spent many years just here in this room. Actually, this originally was the carport to this house, and my parents turned it into a bedroom. Well, not technically a bedroom. My mom wanted to do a home business. She was going to start a home daycare, so they turned it into a home daycare, and that was short lived. And since that failed, they turned it into a bedroom, and I've kind of just been living in here since the early 2000s. So I think it's been close to around 20 years I've been living in this room, thereabouts. I remember I have photos as far back as me living in this room as 2004. So yeah, it's been a little over, just been a couple over, just 21, 22 years of me living in this room. And it's honestly felt like one big prison sentence. So I tell people that too when they're like, if you think about disability this way too, um, disability doesn't just affect your ability to go out and go to work and everything. It also affects your own personal life because I'm not going out partying. I'm not going out and doing things. I'm not going out and socializing. I'm not going out and seeing friends. I'm not, you know, people think, oh, disability is kind of a free ride. You get a monthly check from Uncle Sam, and then you don't have to go to work every day and yada, yada, yada. What they don't understand is the other half of that, you know, the other side of that coin, the loneliness, the isolation, the mental problems that got you your disability status in the first place, um, the lack of being able to go out and do anything because my disability honestly hinges on both physical and mental. My back is all sorts of fucked up. So I am also over 40 now. So I can't exactly go out and get a construction job. I got blood pressure, high blood pressure problems. I take heart pills. So I can't exactly go out and work in the heat and in the sun. I will die. Literally, I will kill over. I can't do that. So I need a job that I can physically do. And in my current condition, it's practically nothing. My fat ass gets winded getting up and going and getting a shower. So I'd like to know what I'm supposed. I don't even think I could do. And people are like, well, you could do fast food. Are you kidding me? Fast food is extremely physically demanding. And I don't know why people think fast food is easy work. Fast food is hectic, fast. It's a thankless job. You've always got people fucking yelling at you, both other employees and customer. It is a very thankless job. If anything, I respect fast food workers more as an adult than I ever did when I was younger, just for the bullshit that they got to put up with. But no, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Year in and year out, I just kind of keep sitting on my hands and do nothing, and it's a vicious cycle because I put a lot of work in. You know, I try to fix my mentals. I try to get my life together, and then I just don't. And it's not from a lack of trying. It's not from laziness. It's just sometimes it's just so hard. I'm just not. I'm just not there. Not able to do it. So maybe it could be a lumberjack. A lumberjack would be cool, but I don't think I could do it anymore. I don't think I can physically do it. Like I said, my body's falling apart. There ain't much I can do anymore. But I do have some New Year's resolutions and some goals. Um, I want to permanently fix my sleep. I want to stay on a daytime schedule from now on. No more nights. Cuz and here's the thing too, a lot of people who are in the same boat I am, a lot of like nerds and gamers and stuff won't, who don't work or work from home or make enough doing the streaming thing to where that is their job. A lot of people who are in this boat that I'm in will end up on nights and end up, never seeing the light of day. And while that was fun when I was younger, and I was really built for it because I'm like antisocial and don't leave the house, that vampire lifestyle, it doesn't play well when you're my age. You know, you got less years. You're over the halfway point. Like at my age, I'm over the halfway point. I have now lived more years than I have years left to live. So being up all night is no longer, it's depressing as all fuck. I can't live that lifestyle anymore. That ship has sailed. So one of my biggest life goals is to be up during the day now. I just can't handle the nighttime anymore. It's been like 20 years of nights, endless nights, waking up when the sun's going down, going to bed when the sun's coming up, isolation, missing everything that's happening during the day. Again, it's fun when you're young, but I can't do it anymore. So, at the very top of my priority list right now is fixing my sleep. Number two is fixing my relationship with food. I need to be able to get down to a healthy weight. I need to be able to exercise somewhat. I need to fix all of that stuff because I can't work. I can't even think about working. I can't do anything. I can barely do this. And if you go back on my channel and actually look, there are some playthroughs where I am just such a zombie that I'm not really speaking. I'm doing nothing but yawning. I'm falling asleep for the whole stream. There are entire playlists of me just being a zombie streamer. And a lot of it comes from the obesity and the sleep apnea and yada, 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 you know? So I intend to fix all that in 2026. I intend to fix all of that. But I'm not just going to stop there. Like I said, we're going to play some non-Nintendo related games because Nintendo's been getting on my nerves. They're on my last good nerve. Charging me $600 for the Switch, $80 for Switch games. Oh, hell no. Mario Kart was kind of a bust. Metroid Prime didn't really live up to the expectations that I had hoped it would. Like I'm really like I'm devastated over the state of Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo has been a staple for my entire life, and their quality is it's just not there, man. Nintendo is just You remember those? They were hella boring. Yeah, I mean, when you're a zombie, because I'm way more like I'm here, I'm alert, I'm present, I'm not yawning every 2 seconds. We're talking through most of the episode. Good stuff. Probably have more subscribers if I did more content like this. And I guess that's a no-duh, isn't it? A lot of it does kind of hinge on having a chat to talk to, though, too. I can't take 100% of the blame on that because outside of you and Lewis, there isn't really ever anybody in chat. So after the first 3 or 4 years, I kind of ran out of stuff to talk about because I'd already told every like little personal life story I had to tell after just a couple of years of doing this. So without a chat to back and forth with, I didn't really have a reason to talk. Oh shit, I was going to say something earlier. Now I completely forgot what it was. Damn, I don't remember. No, I got sidetracked. Oh, I remember what it was. So going back to talking about working, I had this friend of mine. He lived here for 2 years, rent free, utility free, didn't pay a dime. I let him live here out of the kindness of my own heart. I mean, what was I getting out of it, you might ask? Friendship, having a buddy to play video games with, to hang out with, having like a live in friend as a roommate. That's what I was getting out of it. But he was getting like, he was going to work every day and pocketing 100% of his paycheck. You know, what did he pay? His phone and his insurance, and that's it. And I'll never forget this. I'll keep telling this story till I'm 100 years old. And it's no offense to him either. Like if he I haven't spoken to him in many, many years. But if he were ever to show back up, I'll tell him I said this publicly. But I'll never forget one time he told me that his mom said to him she was confused as to why I don't work. Now, I did go to work after she said that. I I've spent more years not working than working. Let's just put it that way. So I wasn't working when he was living here, and then I did go to work. I got a job when he was staying here, and I worked for a little while at the same place he was working. It was a factory job, you know. I stood on an assembly line putting stuff together, and then I had to lift some heavy stuff, and I did that from anywhere to 8 to 16 hours a day. But his mom was like, when I wasn't working, she told him that. She said, I don't understand why you don't work. And I never saw her again after I found out. I had met her a few times, but when he told me that she said that, that was towards the end of him living here. So I never saw her again to be able to confront her about it. But in my mind, I was like, bitch, I don't understand why your son lives here rent free for 2 years. Where were you? Because she was one of those people that never lived in the same place for long. And I heard from him and other people she was somewhat of a scammer. I know at one point she bought a car, then ran off to another state without making the payments on it fully. So yeah, I could tell what kind of person she was, but that's neither here nor there. But I remember thinking to myself, you got some balls saying that, given the fact that you're never around. You don't give your son and your daughter a consistent place to live. He's been staying at my house for 2 years rent free. What the fuck difference does it make that I don't work? I've housed your son for free. You're welcome. Like, I just remember thinking the audacity. Bitch, it don't matter why I don't work. Some people who have money don't work. Not that I have money, but I'm just saying, not every person is employed. And not every person who is unemployed is unemployed because of disability. Some people retire at 30. There are 19-year-old millionaires thanks to TikTok. Sometimes people don't work for various reasons. Since you know you don't got no business, why not? You can tell I'm still pissed about it, and it's been over a decade at this point, or right at a decade. That just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, who the hell, bitch? Why don't I work? Why don't you? This comes from somebody who didn't have a consistent job either. She bounced from one thing to another. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. With some people, man, it's just. I did have somebody say something to me once about not contributing to society. And I told them they could go fuck themselves, because you want me to contribute to the very society that has constantly made me fear for my life, has told me I'm not a whole person, has denied my constitutional rights. We literally have to have parades and rallies just to get some of the same rights that everybody else has had. Like, you hear what you're saying, right? Some people just don't stop and think before they open their big fucking mouths. Why the fuck do I give a shit about society? Society has not been cool to me or mine. Our society thought slavery was okay. What the fuck? I don't give a flying fuck about society. Fuck society. Society can eat a dick. Don't contribute to society. Society owes me, at this point, the mental anguish that I have suffered. Society owes me. And I know how fucking narcissistic and conceited that sounds. I am strictly saying that as a minority myself. If I weren't a minority, I would probably be of the opinion of, yeah, let me see what I can give to society. Let me see what I can contribute. Like the whole mentality that the military people who join the military have, they're like, you know, what JFK say, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you could do for your country. I get that sentiment. And in a vacuum, I like that sentiment. I like that quote. I think he's right. I think it's very pertinent for us to have a reason to get up every day. I also think it's very important to give back to society. It's one of the reasons I love Japan so much. In Japan, they don't think like Americans do. They take care of each other. They care. Unlike this bullshit hellscape. Someone wants to live in your place when I'm older. I don't like what low-key charge them rent unless it's family temporarily or your girl. Yeah, see, and that's a good mindset to have, you know. Girlfriend wants to live there or whatever, totally fine. Yeah, I wouldn't charge her rent either. That'd just be silly. Family, yeah, they kind of get a pass to a certain extent. It depends on how well your relationship is with the family member. I probably wouldn't charge family rent either, especially if I'm living in the house they're living in. Yeah, I probably wouldn't charge them rent. Friends, I wouldn't charge rent for just because they're my friends. Of course, I'm the kind of person that wouldn't charge rent to a stranger if I didn't have to. But I don't know. Yeah, that's two things that rubbed me wrong in my own personal life. Her asking him why it didn't work, telling him she didn't understand that, and then that one person who I won't say who it was telling me I contribute nothing to society that one time. Bitch, no. No. If society did better and was better, I might consider it. If I lived in another country that wasn't hot garbage, I would love to contribute to society. I'd probably go volunteer and whatnot. But nah, here in America, society in the United States can go fuck itself. I'm not in the least bit in a hurry to contribute to American society. And that's kind of what my YouTube channel now is anyway. I spent 9 years, quote unquote, contribute. This is my contribution to society. You're welcome, society. I'm an entertainer. I make videos. That's my contribution to society now. And that's the lie I'm going to tell myself every day. But I mean, I missed the part where I'm wrong, though. You know, tell me if I'm wrong in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you can't you can't cherry pick parts of your population and be as piece of shit to them as historically you have been, and then expect them to just be in a big old hurry to contribute and be part of the group. You know what I mean? And as far as I'm concerned, I'm hella cut off from anybody here. You know, I live in the South. I live in central Alabama. Not only is there nothing to do here and nobody around here, like, I don't know anybody. I think it boils down to mutual respect. If I felt respected by society as a whole, I think I would be more inclined and obliged to give back to society and participate and do my part. But I personally have never felt the warm embrace of society. I've only ever really gotten the boot, so I don't know. Oh hell no! If I do it this way, it's gonna take forever. Can I move the ladder to a different location? Charge family. Just to an extent, they're just living there rent free for. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. If they're just living there rent free for a long time, then maybe I'd probably be like, all right, you've been here for X amount of time. Yeah. Again, it for me, it would be a case by case basis. It would depend on a lot of factors, you know. Why can't I move? See, again, this is why I struggle with the WASD because I look at W and I immediately want to hit the D key to go down. I don't hit the W, or I never hit S trying to go down. I only ever hit the S or hit the D. Okay, this is. Oh, wait, I can't. Okay. Can't reach it from here. Food. Kind of a bit of a hard angle, but there we go. Okay. That's visibly everything done. Now we'll just have to find out what little parts we missed here and there. I don't see anything. So let's go into the list and see what we missed. Gallery bench. The fuck is a gallery bench? Oh, you. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Where did we miss a part? Nope, didn't mean to hit that. Hit the window key. I'm looking. I'm trying to find this bolt. Now this is where the game gets really nitpicky, you know what I mean? Where? Where did I miss a spot? Hmm. Oh, that's a lot actually that I missed down here on the end. Oh wow, look at that giant spot in the middle I missed. Damn it. Goddamn keyboard and mouse is hard. Yay. Rails time 2. Okay. Boom. Rails. What part of the rail, though? Where did I miss? Ooh, okay, the rails are done. Okay. Let's see. Floor. Oh my god, that could literally be anywhere. Uh, Such a huge area. Be right back. I'm back. That was fast. This game's being extra right now. It's telling me that I'm missing spots on the ground on the biggest part of the map, the biggest thing in this job, and I don't see where. Tiny little microscopic dots here and there. Is that what it counts? Okay. Okay. We'll find them. I'm confident we'll find them. No biggie. I get them. Probably going to be in little nooks and crannies too. Where? 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 You know what? I will creep. I'll get down real low. I will look for every little dot. Every little dot. Every little spot. I'm not seeing anything. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Game, you're being extra. Where? Use your words. Where? Where? Oh, where could the extra be? The game not telling me. Where? Well, this is dumb. Look at it. Look at it flashing with a stupid face. Oh. Where? Oh, now I'm yawning. Now I'm yawning. Now I'm yawning. Okay. You bitch. A tiny little spot over there. Really? All right. All right. Walls. Okay. Which wall? Which wall? You gotta help me out here. You gotta help me out here, hint system. Which wall do you want me to clean? Which wall is it? Well, I guess I better go get the ladder. Because I grant you it's on top. To be honest with you, though, thinking back on my little YouTube career here, the ADHD does make us a lot of sense for some things. It could offer up a good explanation for, I don't know, why I don't do streams that are longer than an hour or two. Because after about an hour or two of streaming, I'm completely checked out. And I'm like, I need to get up and go do something else. You know what I mean? I understand that you guys want me to do longer streams. It's just I'm doing the best I can. You know, after about an hour and a half to 2 hours, I'm so mentally checked out a lot of times that it's just better if we come back the next day, you know. Oh wait, I don't know why I grabbed that ladder. We're done. We are done here. Woo! That is a job done. Look at me go. I noticed there's a soccer ball in every map. I don't know if I'm supposed to do something with it. There's probably some sort of achievement for it. I don't know. Great job, Drift Finder. Scrubbed up kind of neat, didn't it? Beats me how you do it all with just a jet of any water. Not that folks seem grateful and all. I'm getting so far as gas in the baggy pants brigade. I can't read for shit today. Complaining that I don't look sick no more. Which was surely the point. Damn. Hey, clean the motorbike. Kick the soccer ball around. Yeah, I usually spray it. You want to do the motorbike today? We could probably do the motorbike real quick. I'm down to hang around and do the motorbike. It just depends on you. You want to do it? I bet the co-op for this game is pretty fun too. I just noticed it up there in the top left-hand corner. So yeah or nay? What shalls it be? You may have seen the pics. My hubby and I becoming the first sidecar to complete the 24-hour Great Plains Challenge. Everyone thought the tracks were just too bumpy and the 24 hours in the seat too restrictive. But it was no problem at all. When I got uncomfortable, I just took my hands off the throttle for a second and gave them a shake. The brutal 5-hour river section, oh God, sure took it out of the sidecar though. Can you clean it up? By the way, Bobby wondered if you knew any chiropractors. Yeah, I'm sure. Do it. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. I always thought in Mario 64, when you choose a stage, he says, "Let's go." But apparently, he says, "Let's go." I mean, I know that that's Mario's catchphrase and all, "Let's go," but I always heard "love to go." I don't know. I always heard "love to go." I've never ridden in a little sidecar before. I bet they're fun. I would get into motorcycles if I weren't so scared of them, if they weren't so dangerous. Because even if you're really safe on the road, you know, you used to think he said Mexico. Mexico. Yeah, so that fits too. Because even, and that's what I always tell people, it does not matter how safe you are. It does not matter how good of a driver you are. Your problem on the road is literally everybody else. That person who's just so nose deep in their goddamn cell phone, that jackass who decided it was okay to drink and drive, or that person who's just so sleep deprived that they ran right through the red light and killed 20 people. You know, it's always going to be somebody, you know, obviously, if you're the person who did that, then you're not the, you know what I mean? You'd love to have a dirt bike. Oh, I'm sure dirt bikes are hella fun. I've never been on a dirt bike. I think the only time I've ever been on a motorcycle when I was too young to remember it. My dad had a motorcycle. And when I was born, my mom was like, nope, it's got to go. And he sold it. But I do remember being on it once. Like, you know, that he took me for a ride on it. But that was in the 80s. I have not been on a bike since. Okay, let me try differently. It took 2 seconds to get up to 80% of this bike being cleaned. Damn. Yeah, but I see YouTube videos from time to time of people riding ATVs and dirt bikes and stuff, and it seems like they're having a lot of fun. I bet it's fun. FL 2012. FL was in Florida, or that has something to do with the bike. Oop, 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 oop. I got a text. Let me get in now. Bing. %96%. That was fast. Damn. We nailed it with this job. I don't even know what parts I'm washing. I'm just kind of washing at it, you know, hoping that stuff pings as I hit a new angle. But I'm going to have to, I guess I'm going to have to actually start looking and seeing what we're missing now. $98. $98. Okay. $99. Let's see what's left. Spoke seats or spoke sets. Swing arm. Well, unfortunately, I don't know what a swing arm is. I know what a spoke is, though. I think that one's clean. Yeah. That just leaves you. Oh, shit. No, it doesn't. Engine, fender, frame. Well, I don't know what a swing arm is, so I'm going to need that one to glow. I'm going to assume it's the thing that connects the two. It's probably what a swing arm is. If I had to venture a guess, I could be wrong. I am often wrong. Fender frame. I guess the fender. Well, what do you consider the frame? Back it. Oh. Oh, that's what a swing arm is. Okay. It's this piece here. Okay. Well, I learned something today. But you're going to have to tell me what the hell the frame is. I mean, I know what a frame is, but I don't know what a frame is on this bike. I don't know what constitutes a frame. Ta-da! Because the bike is so compact, it's hard for me to pick out and say, well, this is its skeleton. You know what I mean? Raise your hand if you spent money on video game skins, even though they have no effect on the game's mechanics and give any advantage in the gameplay. I've done it. I don't do it a lot, but I've done it. You know, here's the thing, too. I've kind of gotten to a point to where I don't care about my own arguments anymore. I used to be so against everything. Everything caused me to get on my soapbox. Everything caused me to bitch and pitch a fit. Everything was just a thing. You know what I mean? But these days, I can't be bothered anymore, you know? They're giving away in Minecraft at the moment, they're giving away the chicken outfit that makes it look like you're chicky jockeying or whatever. I need to go in and claim that. But at least that's free. That bike went by really fast. Great job on the great job on the sidecar. It's never looked better. Tempted to go in for the Appalachian Way mega run now. It's always been Bobby's dream. Oh, Appalachian, huh? That means you're on my side of the country. On the East Coast. So that leaves us the fire station and the cottage. I shift under career mode. Under bonus jobs, we still have a ton. Like this playthrough's going to go on a while. I'm going to be power washing for a while because I do intend to do some of these. Now this it's crossplay. I didn't know that. Hey. This free play. Challenge mode. Wash against the clock or a water limit. Oh, hell no. Nah, I'm good. I like this game because of its chill factor. I'm not about to give myself stress if I don't have to.